Can you set a world record at failing to set a world record? Hi everyone, I'm Jacob, I'm the Cowhat Librarian, and I'm here tonight to talk about Milo Moss is officially unamazing by the very talented Lauren Allbright. Milo is a typical kid. He goes to school, he comes home, he gets along more or less with his parents. Well, not quite normal. You see, Milo and his parents are obsessed with their goal in life, to set a record that will land them in the Guinness Book of World Records. And they have made countless record attempts over the years. And their house is littered with the ingredients that go into a record success, like oversized cake pans and giant towers of toilet paper rolls and all sorts of other nonsense. In fact, they even have a jar with ridiculous record attempts that they can pull ideas out of when they are in between other things, like hopping in and out of underwear in 15 minutes, or seeing how many clothespins they can attach to their head. As the story starts, Milo and his parents are out of town and he's missing school yet again to participate in a world record attempt. But this time, he's sure they've got it. They're going to participate in an event where people will gather in an enormous stadium to set the world record for the largest number of people dressed as insects in a group. Milo and his parents get there a little bit late, and they're waiting for the adjudicator for Guinness to come, and all of a sudden, someone nearby gets sick, and then another person, and then another, and there's a stampede for the restrooms and the exits. Well, they didn't set a record that day. A different record was set for the largest number of people to get food poisoning from a single event. And Milo and his parents were not part of that record. For their digestive tracts, it was a lucky thing. For Milo and his parents' goal to set a record, it was less fortunate. So Milo was pretty bummed. He was sure this one would make it, and he's not getting any closer to breaking a record. Worst of all, Milo had also been talking about the record attempt at school, both to his best friend Jesse, who also happens to be his nephew, and other classmates as well. And Milo's been on the end of a fair bit of teasing for his record attempts, and his bully Brandon refers to him as a record breaker. Hey, record breaker, how's it going? And the like. And he can't take it anymore. So Milo gives up and fakes it. He uses a computer to print off a fake version of a Guinness record form, complete with a misspelling, and claims to Jesse that he and his parents made the record and everything's great. Well, until it all falls apart. Milo is bummed because he didn't actually break the record. Jesse finds out the truth about what happened, and things sort of come to a head in Jesse's life as well, as he and his mom, Milo's sister, sort of try to get over the loss of his dad many years before. It was really great. Milo was a fun character. His dealing with his parents' obsessions was very real, and him getting drawn into them to this extent that he would go dress up as an insect in a giant arena, or that he and his parents would drop everything and travel miles and miles to be at another world record attempt where a dog rode a skateboard through a human tunnel. It was very believable that they would be so drawn into these things and so obsessed with it. Milo's relationship with Jesse was absolutely fantastic. They're friends, but there's also some competitiveness and a little bit of sibling rivalry, even though they're officially uncle and nephew, for Milo's parents and Jesse's grandparents' attention. There's some great stuff in there as their friendship starts to fracture as a result of Milo lying about things. It was really great. I recommend it. And if you like things, now this is reaching back a little bit, like How I Survived the 5th Grade by Megan and H. William Stein, if I'm remembering that right, where the main character has a friend who's also similarly obsessed with getting into the Guinness Book of World Records and wants to make the world's largest sandwich. If you've ever read that, this might be a fun follow-up, or vice versa. The other book that really reminded me of this one in tone was one I've talked about in another video on this channel, How to Train Your Dad by Gary Paulson. The idea that a boy could be swept up into his parents' idea of what normal is and what their goals in life are, and that they have to try to break their parents of those habits to get on with their lives. There's a lot of similarities there, and I think a fan of one of these would enjoy the other. Now, with all that said, there are spoilers ahead, because I have to talk about the deal breaker. Now, it's pretty minor, but the deal breaker is just that there wasn't much in the way of surprises here. The realization by Milo that he really doesn't need to set a record to be a whole person, and then being able to set a record based on that realization and the trash of their previous attempts, it wasn't much of a surprise, that's all. That is a minor complaint. It was fun, it was filled with good energy, and it might inspire some other readers to look up record attempts of their own and see all the strange and silly and wondrous things that other people have done while trying to complete records. So I recommend it. Go borrow it from your local library. While we're on that topic, if you use your local public library and you value its services, I highly recommend that you take just a minute and talk to the powers that be. Tell your local council members, tell your MLA, tell your MP that you support and value public libraries. We're at a time where some public libraries are having trouble finding sustainable funding to continue to offer the programs and materials and services you value so much, and a word in the right ear might make a world of difference. And if by chance you are a library staff member of some sort, don't forget, watching these videos counts as professional development time. With that, thank you for listening to me talk about this book, and please, by all means, please like, please subscribe, and please check back and see what else I have to talk about from the Cowhat Library. Thank you. Bye now.